Welcome to the seminar on how to be a successful entrepreneur. My name is Mirza Yavar Beg. I am the founder of Yavar Beg and Associates. We founded this company in 1994 in Bangalore in India, and we are still growing strong. My claim to fame is that I started literally with a shirt on my back, and we managed to build a brand that has global recognition. I want to begin by stating for you a fundamental principle I consider to be one of the fundamental truths, one of the fundamental laws of life, and that is that every single one of us must choose between one of two pains, between one of two kinds of pain: the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The pain of discipline is temporary and it quickly turns into pleasure. The pain of regret is permanent. My question to you is, do you have a business? I was speaking to a group of business school students, and it was many business schools which had come together for an annual program. They invited me, and my first question to them was, how many of you own your own business? Now, not one of them put up his hand. So I said, why not? Oh, they said, no, but you see, we don't have any capital, we are going to business. I said, I didn't ask you, do you have a global business? I said, do you own a business? Your business could be selling matchsticks. Do you do business? Because entrepreneurship is a practice. Like judo, like karate and so on, it is a practice. You learn entrepreneurship like you learn cycling, like you learn judo, like you learn karate, by learning how to fall, by actually doing the stuff. Entrepreneurship, I believe, is the savior of our future. Entrepreneurship is what will save this planet. Because currently we are living in a situation where we have 8 white men whose combined net worth is more than 50% of the rest of the world. I'm assuming that since those 8 white men are probably not in this seminar, I am talking to the 50% of the others who collectively have less than 8 white men. The only thing that can change that is when we become job creators instead of being job seekers. So ask yourself, which one are you? Among the many other books I have written are 2. An Entrepreneur's Diary, which is my own life as an entrepreneur. Do get it, read it, it's on Amazon. I have deliberately kept the prices very low so that the book is easily accessible to everyone. And the other book is specially for business families. It's called The Business of Family Business, also on Amazon, globally available. Please read them. Entrepreneurship is not only about business, even though I'm going to be talking in those terms because that's the easiest way to explain it. But entrepreneurship is really about the willingness to take responsibility for your own life. To look at yourself and say, this is my life, I am responsible for my life, and I will do whatever it takes to live a successful, satisfied life which is good for everyone who touches me or who comes into contact with me. I want to share with you this picture. I took this photograph in Pune. I was going to the airport and my taxi stopped at a traffic signal, and when I looked on my left, I saw this young man, his name is Samir, sitting there, and he is a key maker. Now, if you see his tools, some very basic tools, his files and hammers and so on. But see the way he has positioned himself. He has multiple signs, some of them shaped like keys, hanging on that tree. He is sitting with a white cloth on which he has his tools. He could have used a black cloth or a khaki cloth or something which doesn't show the dirt. The fact that he is using a white cloth and that white cloth is still white on the side of an Indian road in the middle of the day shows that Samir takes care of his things. Really, I think this is one of the finest pictures of entrepreneurship that I could ever have imagined. I had an old Nokia phone at that time. I took this picture and I carry this with me. And that's why I say that it's not how much you know, but how much you do that makes the critical difference. Sorry to sound as if I am taking a hit at business schools, but ask yourself, how many students graduate from business schools globally or in your country every year? And then see how many new businesses are started in your country. And if you want to do a further test, see how many new businesses are started by business school graduates. And then ask yourself, should that place be called a business school at all? We train people in business schools to go and stand in grub lines, to look for jobs as pen pushers in somebody else's business. I want to remind myself and you that attitude is not the only thing. Attitude is everything. Everything begins and ends with attitude. There should be a absolute passion to differentiate, because differentiation creates brand, brand inspires loyalty, loyalty enables influence. Without differentiation, you are a grain, one grain of rice in a sack. You're still rice, but you're one grain in a sack. Nobody cares whether you live or die. The moment you differentiate, you become a brand. Ask yourself, when you go into a grocery store to buy toothpaste, what do you ask for? You don't ask for toothpaste. You ask for Colgate, or you ask for Pepsodent, or you ask for this or Signal or whatnot. You ask for a brand. If I tell you I'm going to go out today and buy a car, what's the question you're going to ask me? You will ask me, what car? I say, no, I just told you, I'm buying a car. Is there such a thing as a car? There are Maseratis and Rolls Royces and BMWs and Hyundais and Tatas, and there are brands. There's no such thing as a car. Brand differentiates, inspires loyalty, and creates influence. The secret of creating a brand, the secret of differentiation is to contribute. We go in, many times people go in looking to see what can I get. Forget about what you can get. See what you can give. Because power is a factor of territory and contribution defines territory. Contribution plus consistency builds trust. And trust is the soul. Trust is the soul of success. Contribution plus consistency. Not just contributing once when the pyramids were being built. Contributing every single day. That is what builds trust. Success is inevitable. You cannot possibly fail. Success, like gravity, it's a universal rule. But like gravity, it has ingredients. Success, in my view, has 5 critical ingredients. Passion, edge, discipline, people, and perseverance. 5 critical ingredients. Let's look at each of them. Now, passion. A passion for entrepreneurship. I always say, if you want me to define passion, Passion is something that makes you cry. Because if it can't make you cry, it can't make you work. Passion is something when you think about it, tears must come in your eyes. They need not come in anybody else's eyes, your eyes. Then you know that you are passionate about that thing. If you are passionate, you will succeed without a doubt. If you are not passionate, you will fail without a doubt. If you don't have passion, go work for an entrepreneur. You will see what passion is. Passion empowers, and that's why I say to you, if you want to light up the world, be prepared to burn. Because heat produces light. Only passion illuminates, inspires, and empowers. In 1983, I decided on my life goal, and I wrote it out. One line, and that's the secret. Write your life goal in one line, one short line. To become a globally recognized leadership consultant. The goal must be big enough to scare and worthy enough to inspire. Because you are going to be doing a lot of very hard work to reach that goal. So I wrote my goal to become a globally recognized leadership consultant. As I told you, the whole story is in my book, read it. But I will refer to small parts of it in the course of this seminar. So when you are passionate about something, your entrepreneurial idea, ask yourself, why are you doing this? What will happen if you didn't do this? If you ceased to exist, if you disappeared from the face of the planet, what would be lost? Ask yourself, can you see this? Can you feel it? Can you taste it in your mouth? Who are your role models? You want to start this business, you want to start this movement, you want to start this great enterprise. Who are you following? Who is the role model? Who's been there, done that? And if there is nobody who's been there, done that, don't let that frighten you. Maybe you are the one who's going to be the role model for everybody else, but look for role models. And then say, what are your metrics? If you cannot measure it, you cannot do it, you cannot improve it, you cannot change it. So measuring it is absolutely critical to success. So ask yourself, what are my metrics? What is the return that I'm going to get on this? And believe me, the return has nothing to do with money. Money is a very, very poor way of defining return. Return is much more than money. You can express some part of the return in money, but just money, no. It doesn't inspire. So ask yourself, what is the return? Challenge yourself. People say, what is plan B? I say plan B is another name for planning failure. If I fail, what is the question of if you fail? You are passionate about this, you will succeed, and you are working to succeed. Ask yourself, am I working to succeed or am I working to fail? If you're working to fail, have your plan B, because that is what will eventually happen. But if you have no plan B, you will succeed. Make that plan A the best possible plan that you can make. Put your heart and soul into it, and then tell me how you fail. No compromise on quality. Anyone who's worked with me will tell you this. I will do something 10 times over until I am satisfied with the outcome, with the product. And I know very well that my customers and so on will be satisfied much before that. But I'm not satisfied because I know what I can do. I do it 10 times over. I do it any number of times. I've actually lost a client for this reason. He got very tired with me, changing things again and again. I don't blame him. I mean, he's got a right to be tired. But that is me. I will never put something out there which I am not satisfied with. So never ever compromise on quality. That is the worst deal that you can do. Which means be very clear about what you promise. If you cannot deliver complete quality, don't even talk about it. Don't accept it. If you accept it, ensure that you deliver total quality, no excuses. Measure yourself. I keep talking about metrics all the time because that is so critically important. And number one place and person to apply those metrics is on yourself. Measure yourself and be completely ruthless about it. Do not fall into this trap of making excuses for yourself. Oh, but I was not well. Oh, that. No. If you commit to do something, the only time that should not happen or that will not happen is if you die. As long as you are alive, you will deliver. And if there is some completely overpowering reason why you cannot deliver, then you will go to the client before the client even thinks about it and tell them and explain to them what's going on. So ruthless measurement of yourself. And finally, invest in yourself. Measurement and measure that investment. I've actually had this done before. One time I was talking to a client and we finished everything, came to the fee, and the client was a bit hesitant. He said, oh, but you see, Mr. Beg, so-and-so, and he gave me some names, so-and-so charges less than you charge. So I told him, here is my last year's investment in myself. This is what I spent on myself, upgrading my skills, acquiring new skills. In the last 1 year, I wrote this book, and so on. So I had a list. I always make that. So I had a list. So I said to him, this is what I do. This is what I have done. Welcome to compare with anybody else. I got the business. I got the client. To this day, he's my client. He never came back to me again with that question. He never went away from me to anybody else. Investment in yourself is capital. Because very simple, you are telling your client that if I am not willing to invest in myself, how on earth am I going to help you? So if you are a client, if you are going to hire a consultant for something, ask them, what is your investment in yourself in the last 1 year? Show me evidence. Constantly ask yourself, what do you need to learn? If the person who is afraid of looking like a fool is a failure. Have no hesitation. Learn from anyone. Learn the whole time. So, and people will teach you. Young people, old people, anyone will teach you and teach you for free as long as you're willing to learn and as long as you show commitment. That's the main thing. Commitment. Today we live in a strange world where people come, sometimes good people come to me and say, I have a very important question and I would like you to please answer that question. I say, okay, so tell me, what's the question? Say, no, can I come to you tomorrow at 12 o'clock? Why? Oh, because I have to go to sleep now. So is it your need or my need? You want me to satisfy your need at a time that is convenient to you. Whether that's convenient to me or not doesn't matter. Please. That is huge disrespect for your teacher, for whoever you are going to. Make sure that you show respect. And showing respect means, if I need something from you, I will go and sit at your door, outside your door, until you are ready to come out of your house. I will not even ring your doorbell. I will take an appointment. I will go there on time. I will go there with a notebook. Treat people with respect if you want to learn from them. My 4 goals I set for myself in 1983. First, I wanted to upgrade my education, so I enrolled for the professional membership of the Indian Society for Applied Behavioral Science, which is a 4-year course, which is almost equivalent to a PhD in Applied Behavioral Science. ISAPS is not a university, so they cannot give you a PhD, but the professional membership is something like that, which is equal in value to a PhD. And then I did an MBA, a executive MBA from the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. I set this goal. I need an MBA from IIMA, which is the number one business school in India. It was set up by Harvard Business School, and it's the top business school in India. So I didn't want an MBA from anywhere, from that particular, not from anywhere else, from the number one business school. Number 3, learn leadership training and consulting. How to do this? It's a practice. You learn it the way you learn cycling. And the 4th one was write books. So 4 goals for myself I set. ISAF's professional membership, MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, learn leadership training and consulting, and write books. And all this while doing a full-time job. I was a tea planter. I joined the company in 1983, spent 10 years with them, and I did all of this while doing a full-time job as a tea planter, sitting on top of the hills, one of the most beautiful places on earth, the Annamal is, in Tamil Nadu. But also it meant that anytime I wanted to travel, I had to add 3 days to my travel itinerary. Again, details in my book, read them. So the first thing, passion. Number 2, edge. Edge is like the edge of a knife. There is no time when you need not have an edge. If you have a knife without an edge, it's a piece of iron, worthless. So it's a lifelong test of your determination. Edge comes with thoughtful practice. I recommend to you Malcolm Gladwell's book called Outliers. In this book, he talks about something called the 10,000 hour rule. Malcolm Gladwell is a statistician, and he proves statistically the amazing difference between working for 6,000 hours, 8,000 hours, and 10,000 hours. There's an absolute geometric progression. There's a difference of magnitude between 8,000 hours and 10,000 hours. Thoughtful practice. Edge is not to let the pain stop you from doing what you want. Edge is to get up every time you fall. Everybody falls. As they say, you don't lose the race when you fall, you lose the race when you fail to rise. So rise every time you fall. That is edge. So how to get edge? Number 1, recognize an opportunity when others only see problems. How you view something. Somebody says, I change my career every 2 months because I have to have a job without which I will lose my visa, and so I need to have if I don't have a job for 60 days, then I have to leave the country. I will lose my visa, so I get some job. So I'm changing my career. So I'm never an expert in anything. Another way to look at that is, you're actually an expert in many things. It's not a matter of fooling yourself. It's a matter of applying yourself with such tremendous energy and focus to what you are doing, that even in that short time that you do that particular job, you are learning enormously more than others. So instead of sitting and feeling bad about the fact that you change your job every few months, sit and feel good about the fact that you are able to know so many different technologies in that same period of time which somebody else would not have known. Question of recognizing an opportunity. The problem with people is, when opportunity knocks, they complain about the noise. Opportunity does not knock. Opportunity is what happens when you go there and break the door down and grab it by the neck and take it. You have to look for opportunities. Recognize opportunities when other people only see problems. Second one is perseverance in that. Postpone gratification. Don't look for immediate results. They won't come. There is a struggle. There is a push. You have to be mentally prepared for that. It's not going to come easy. Anything worth having is hard. So choose your heart. Being fat is hard. Being fit is hard. Choose your heart. Learning is hard. Being ignorant is hard. Choose your heart. Being friendless and lonely and depressed is hard. Having a beautiful relationship is hard. Choose your heart. Telling lies and selling your soul is hard. Standing up for the truth and speaking the truth to power is hard. Choose your heart. Nothing is easy. Anything worth having is hard. And final point in Edge, enjoy the risk. Enjoy risk taking. Enjoy the journey. Because if you don't enjoy it, you can't succeed. It'll just get too painful. Enjoy the journey. If it gets too painful, stop, take a deep breath, take a little rest and continue. I used to climb, not mountains as in Mount Everest, but hikes on the Western Ghats. And when you start climbing, it gets very hot because you're starting from I'm talking about the tropics. Gets very hot, sweaty, and about halfway in the journey, I'm thinking to myself, what kind of nonsense is this? I mean, how did I even end up in this place? Why did I do this? By then, I'm at the halfway point. It's actually more difficult to go down because climbing down is much more difficult on your knees. But when I stop at the halfway point, I take a little bit of rest, drink a couple of sips of water. You can't drink too much water. Get a second wind and start climbing again. And one day I'm going up the Ghats from Kanyakumari district in Tamil Nadu all the way up to Singapati. And 3/4 of the way up, I felt as if something is looking at me, and I turned up and I saw a leopard sitting on a ledge like a dog, like this, looking down at me. That's it. I continued to walk. The leopard just kept looking at me. I'm not his food. I know he won't attack me. But just the the joy of that. And when I get to the top, I turn around. My body I'm very tired. I'm sweating. I'm scratched all over with little brambles and little thorns and stuff as I'm walking through the bush. And I turn around and I look and I see the fields, rice fields, miles and miles and miles of rice fields. And in the distance I see the ocean. And in the middle of this beautiful shades of green that I cannot describe for you. It's all green technically, but multiple shades of green. And in the middle of that are like emeralds, blue patches, and these blue patches I know are water. So water ponds in the middle of the rice fields, and I can't see them, but I know that those water ponds are filled with water lilies and lotus. And from the height I can't see those, but I see this, and then a beautiful breeze comes up to me, and the enjoyment of a breeze depends on how much sweat you have. Because success is directly proportionate to difficulty, not to ease. Completely revives me. And it's a good thing, because from that point to the Singapati club, where my car was, is another 14 kilometers. You might say, well, why did I do that? Just the love of it. Just the love of it. Love the journey, because if you don't love the journey, you won't succeed. Another very important thing is in Edge is the ability to take tough decisions. That is Edge. Edge is a sharp knife. When I wanted to do the MBA, I discovered, and quite, that wasn't such a surprising discovery. The MBA course is a 2-year course, obviously, the full MBA course. Now, I'm in a full-time job. I had just got married, and at the time I was looking at this whole, at the time I was planning this whole thing. I wasn't married. I was going to get married. So, I'm going to get married. I need a job. I can't take 2 years off. I need the MBA. How do I do that? So I researched and I found that they had a executive MBA program, 6 months, with the same fee as the 2-year program, which at that time was 30,000 rupees. To give you an idea of what that meant, my salary at that time was 850 rupees. Not even 1,000 rupees. I was not even getting 12,000 rupees a year. I was getting about 9,600 or say 10,000 rupees a year. The fee was 30,000 rupees. So the fee of the MBA, executive MBA course was 3 years salary for me. But it didn't occur to me that, this is impossible, so I should give. I said, no. How do I make that happen without holding up a bank or something? So I borrowed money. I went to the company, and the company said to me, well, we will lend you 50% of the amount of the fees. To this day, I didn't understand why they lent me 50%. I mean, my point is, I have a problem, so solve it or don't solve it. But maybe they were testing me. And my theory in life is, if somebody is giving me 50%, I take it. I won't say I don't want it. It's okay, give me 50%. Now the other 50%, I had a car, I sold it. And some more money I borrowed from, alhamdulillah, you discover who your friends are. And I had a beautiful friend. Then the company said to me, you are going for this period, we will deduct 1 year's vacation, which was 35 days from this period of 6 months, and the rest, other 5 months, you can take off. We'll give you vacation without pay. So now that if you just take the salary, I have to add that back into the fee, because that's what the fee now has become, thanks to my company not paying me my salary. So no, my goal is to get the MBA. Anything as long as it's not illegal, I will do. So I borrowed the money, I accepted all of this. The company said, then write a bond to say that you will not leave the company for 3 years after you return. Legally, that is illegal. Legally, it's illegal. Huh? You can't take a one-sided bond or agreement from anybody. But I signed it. No problem. I didn't know. I didn't want to go. I had a lovely job. I loved the place. I loved the job. And 3 years will pass. And they did. Just do it. And one very important thing. Don't tell the world about your plans. The world is not interested. Some people are jealous. Not everybody is your well-wisher. Tell a very few people. Don't tell anybody. They don't need to know. You don't have to tell them. Big learning for me was, no, the word no doesn't mean no. It just means not in this way. So when I said to my company, for example, will you allow me to go? Will you pay for my education? They said no. I said, will you pay for what? How much will you pay? I didn't say, you said no, I go away. No. And they said, we pay 50%. Incidentally, when I came back, I negotiated with the company to give me 15 days of leave without pay to go learn how to consult, to go learn how to train. So I used to use my entire annual leave, which was 35 days, plus this 15 days, and I would spend that learning how to train, because there is no course. I used to travel to city by city and go as apprentice myself to trainers, and they were very kind, very dear friends of mine, very kind, who were allowed me to come and sit in their classes. But that's it. I would travel by third class train, which is a wooden plank as a seat, and I would stay in hotels where you wouldn't kennel a dog, and I would learn. Which brings me to the third point, which is discipline. And I say to myself, if it's worth doing, it's worth the trouble. As simple as that. So decide for yourself, is this goal worth having? If it is worth having, then stop complaining about difficulty. Just shut up and work. Manage yourself. Whatever you have to do, do it. Because discipline is to do what you must do even when you don't want to do it. That's discipline. Everyone does what they want to do. What's the discipline in there? Discipline is to do what you must do even when you don't want to do it. So how to become disciplined? Number one, manage yourself, because that's the only thing you can do. You can't manage people, manage yourself. Manage your time, manage your priorities, manage who you will meet, your friends, manage what you will spend your time on, which means kill social media. Manage how you will leverage your time, which means multitask. I go for a long walk every day, or as many days as I can. Nowadays it's freezing cold outside. And my walk takes me about 1.5 to 2 hours. And that whole time I spend listening to different kinds of podcasts. And not random. I like history, so I listen to Empire podcast of William Dalrymple. I like stories of startups, so I listen to a podcast on that sometimes. Different kinds of podcasts. So my time is used. I'm walking, I'm doing that. I also create a lot of, as you know, content for my YouTube channels. So I do those short lecturettes and short videos, usually about nature and so on, and linking them back to learnings and leadership development and so on and so forth. All of those are on my channel. Take a look at that. Same channel as this video. Number two, manage your family. Without the support of your family, you can't win. You cannot win. If you have a family, if you're alone, that's a different thing. But if you have a family, if you're married, if you have children, and let me say something, don't be offended. Many times you have to choose between your ambition and children. For most people, you can't do both. I want to say for all people, you can't do both, but let me say most people, you can't do both. Once you have children, you have given hostages to life. That's it. Because they will demand your attention. They deserve your attention. They have a right to your attention. They didn't ask to come into the world. They came into the world because of you. You didn't bring them, but because of you. And that attention, that time is coming from where? From your goal. So choose. If you can manage both, but I don't know whether you can, because I don't know anybody who could. But who knows, maybe you are exceptional. Manage your family. Whatever I achieved was thanks to the support of my wife. We have now been married 40 years, we have no children. Alhamdulillah. I thank Allah for this. Final and very important, manage your finances. Differentiate between desires and needs. Meeting needs, very easy. Meeting desires, almost impossible. Differentiate between the two. Many times we leverage the desire and we create it and we think it's a need. Differentiate between the two. Learn to be satisfied with a good life without ostentation. Live without ostentation. Live quietly. Don't compete with anybody. And you will live a very happy, satisfied life. Then concretize your ideas. Many people have a lot of ideas. Their ideas are like a soup, like a fog in their mind. But until the idea can be condensed and coalesced and put down on paper and concretized, that idea will not see light of day. So create a business plan. Numbers. Create a business plan. What is your funding source? How will you spend that money? What is the rate of return? What's your cost benefit analysis? Create a business plan. Then whatever your product or service is, test market it. Test it out. And seek feedback and consider that feedback seriously, especially the critical views. Don't get carried away because of your, I love this. You may love the idea, may not be a great idea. So be clear about that. And then be flexible. Change anything except the goal. The way to get to the goal, you can have multiple ways. The one way that you really thought you wanted to use may not be possible, may still be the best way, but may not be possible. Be prepared to try other ways, as long as the goal is achieved. And once again I'm saying, don't talk about your ideas to everyone. Very few people who can really give you who can add value to you. Very important to manage yourself, as I told you, and start from the absolute basics. Make your bed. Every single morning, as soon as you wake up, make your bed. No matter what, you are hungry or thirsty, make your bed. You are sick or healthy, make your bed. You like it, you don't like it, make your bed. Polish your shoes. Do not go around with dirty shoes. Clean your car, wash your vehicle. Must be shining all every time. Dress for work. You used to have all these funny videos in the COVID days when people are doing Zoom meetings and they're sitting there with a tie and coat and so on, and they just have their underwear or a pair of shorts, and for some reason they get up and you see this. Not good. Dress for work. Even if you work from home, dress for work. Have your workstation, have your workplace separate. Treat it like a workplace. Dress for work, go in there. That's your space. No mixing up the domestic space with that space. Don't have kids running around screaming. No. Treat work with respect. Stick to your hours. If you have a certain working span, even if you're I have been working from home for almost 30 years. Strict working hours. You take breaks at those break times, not before. And go out, hit the street, go meet customers, go talk to people every single day, no matter what. Every single day. And finally, for yourself, eat healthy, no addictions, no alcohol, no cigarettes, no substance abuse of any kind for any reason, and exercise daily. Exercise daily. Especially if you're not feeling energetic, exercise. That's the best adrenaline shot that you can get. Exercise. Manage your emotions. When anything happens, don't get stuck in that. Many people get stuck in something which happened. No. Disconnect, reflect on what happened, conceptualize that, create an abstract concept, and then experiment. Apply that and see how it works. As I mentioned before, measure everything, especially yourself. Your time, your energy, your output. What did you say? How did you say it? What could you have done differently? Constant measurement. And excuses don't change reality. I say this again and again and again. Never lie to yourself. Never lie to yourself. Excuses do not change reality. And very importantly, disengage from emotions and use intellect to think. You can feel or you can think, but you can't do both. If you're stuck in feelings, your thought will go out of the window. You will not be able to think properly. So don't get stuck in feelings. I know you will feel, I feel. But if you really want to think and come to a decision, you have to develop the ability to disengage from feelings and think with cold and clear intellect. Final point on on the issue of discipline is do what needs to be done. Do what must be done. No excuses. Do what needs to be done. I did not take a vacation for 12 years. I spent on nothing except learning. Books, courses, traveling to places to learn. And that's why I said your family's support is critical. I couldn't have done that if my wife wasn't helping me with that. I took no vacation, meaning she took no vacation. For 12 years, she just went home to her parents' place. While I went off to this city or that city, learning how to train, learning how to run a consulting practice. We had the bare necessities. We lived well, but we didn't have, in those days in the plantations, everyone had a nice colored TV, they had VCPs, VHS, tape players or VCRs and whatnot. We had nothing. There's no money for that. Instead of that, we had books. I slept and I sleep 4 hours a day. And I work 7 days a week. To this day, Alhamdulillah. And I document everything. I write everything. And that's a wonderful, wonderful asset. So I suggest you document everything. Structure and metrics are your savior. The most productive people in the world are the people who are structured. Not people who are big on, spontaneously, I feel like working. There's no feel. You work because it's a time for you to work. As I told you, I said my goal was to write books. Well, here is a selection of some of them. To this day, I've written 40 books. I started my business. I wrote my goal in 1983. I started my business as a full-time business consultant in 1994. So from 83 to 94, no vacation, no spending on anything other than essentials. And today we are in 2025. Alhamdulillah. Point number 4, people. Because you are only as good as your team. I'm not saying this to make anybody happy. This is the reality. You are only as influential as you are beneficial. The more you contribute, the more influence you will build for yourself. Serve people. Keeps you grounded. Always volunteer to do the job. Whatever the job is. Keep close to your customers. Meet them. Take them out to dinner. If they invite you, accept their invitations. Go sit with them in their shop. Their product, your product which they are using, go and see how they are using it. If you are selling tea, for example, go and sit in the tea shop, the roadside tea shop, and drink your tea which that man is making. Drink it and see how it tastes. That's the best way to get the fastest and the most authentic market intelligence. Yourself. And it also alerts you to potential threats. New threats in the market, new products and services in the market, new people coming and trying to take your businesses. And believe me, that also builds for you relationships where no one can compete with you, not because your product is that superior, but because you are the product and you come with the business and nobody else can replace you. And make dua. Make dua. Ask Allah for success. That's the most powerful, intangible asset that you can have. Make dua. I call my 4 C's, the CTSs, critical to success, 4 C's. Number 1, compassion. Genuine investment in people, genuinely being cared, being compassionate, genuinely caring for people, and kindness. It is the thing which is in the shortest supply in the world today. Kindness. Be kind. Be anything but always be kind. Number two, communicate. Communicate with sincerity. No selling. No selling, no spiel. Show what's in it for me. Show what's in it for them. WIIFM is the station, the FM station everyone listens to. WIIFM. What's in it for me? Show that to them. Number three, collaborate. Always help people. Don't compete, collaborate. Leverage your difference, value dissent, listen carefully to people who are critical because they will show you loopholes, they will show you weaknesses in your business model which they are doing you a favor. Plug those loopholes, you are stronger. And use conflict to build deeper, to prepare, worst case scenario analysis, and so on and so forth. People are the key. And very, very importantly, respond. As soon as possible, immediately, because speed is a competitive advantage. I have done this all my life, believe me. Many times I've succeeded only because I was first I came back first to the customer. Speed is a competitive advantage. Because in the end, it's about you, not about them. All that you choose to do or choose not to do defines brand value and character. All that you choose to do or choose not to do defines brand value and character. I was talking to 1994. I had just started my company. I was very poor and hungry and I desperately needed business. I was invited by a big company in Bangalore which always makes a big song and dance about their integrity and blah 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 whatnot. It's a big name, so I was very happy. Because apart from the business, to have that company's name on my CV, in my list of clients would have made a big difference to me. So I was invited and I was asked to give a proposal for a training course. I did that. And this was to be rolled out over 200 people. So it was a big job. I needed that money and I needed that work desperately. Now part of the design was the Myers-Briggs type indicator MBTI instrument. So when I gave my the financials for the proposal, I put in there Myers-Briggs and what it costs to get the copyrighted material from the supplier. And these were the days before when we did that physically. So you couldn't do it online. This was the days before we actually had computers. I mean, frankly, there was no laptops in those days, and we used to work with 386. I don't know how many of you have ever seen a 386 desktop. So I submitted all of this. The person I was talking to, she accepted all that. And then, so I went back, I'm very happy. I said, fantastic, I've got this deal now, I'm going to do this and, it will take care of my finances for the next couple of months. And I'm preparing for it and so on. In those days, it meant a lot of printing, material, whatnot, all of which I had to do. I did all that. And 2 days before the program is to be run, she calls me, she says, can you please come and see us? I said, sure. I went there. She says, Mr. Beg, can we renegotiate the fee? I said, no, sorry, this is what I told you, that's it. She said, okay, can we use this copyrighted material, can we use photocopy? Can you photocopy it and use it? So I said, let me try and understand this. I said, you are this company which talks so big and high and mighty about integrity and whatnot, and you are telling me, can we photocopy copyrighted material, meaning can we steal it? I said, no, we cannot steal it. He said, oh, but you see, everyone does it. I said, I don't care. I know everyone does it. That's why India has such a bad name with regard to these things. People bribe, they cheat, they lie. I mean, it is a very, very short-sighted way of doing things. So I said, sorry, I'm not interested in what everybody does. I don't do this. She said, we'll give you so much of work. I said, I don't care. I do not care. If I am not going to be working honestly, with integrity, I don't want the work. He said, you're making a big mistake. You're losing business. I said, sure. Absolutely. I'm not making a mistake. I'm losing business, but I'm not making a mistake. I gave you a fee. That is the fee. I will not do anything dishonest. I will do what I need to do. She said, sorry, then in which case this deal is off. I said, okay. I walked away. To this day, I can feel the pain in my belly. But to this day, I hold my head up because I did not give in to this emotional blackmail. Integrity is not for sale. As simple as that. Final point, perseverance. I've said this before, I'll say this again. The race doesn't end when you fall, it ends when you fail to rise. Take the loss. The one who cannot take a loss can never win. The one who wins is the one who stands up every time he's knocked down. Perseverance. Now, in that perseverance, please understand and remember that flexibility is important. So change everything except the goal. Remember, uncertainty, chaos, complexity is opportunity. All of these are places which are business ideas. It's a source of profit. Complexity is a source of profit. Because if you can untie those knots, that's how you contribute. That's how you add value. Learn from your failures and try again and again and again. There's a wonderful story that I want to share with you about Kobe Bryant. Now, Kobe Bryant is one of the very famous basketball players of NBA. Very sadly, a couple of years ago, he died in a plane crash. But he's absolutely amazing human being. So this is a story about his first year as a professional player. And his team had reached playoffs. And there were 3 shots which were critical for the team to win. And Kobe missed all 3. So the commentators, everybody is horrified to say, oh my God, this is the first year and in this playoffs he's missed all 3 shots and so on, and this commentary is going on. And they see Kobe going off the court and he's sitting on a bench and he's holding his head in his hands like this. And the commentators are saying, oh my God, he must be feeling so bad and he must be feeling so disappointed and so on and so on. So after some time, he got up. And as he came off the court, the reporters, they got up with him. And one of them said, Kobe, you must be feeling so bad. You must be feeling so disappointed. So Kobe says, what do you mean? He said, no, we saw you sitting there with your head like this. And we thought you must be feeling. He said, what's feeling got to do with it? He said, what does feeling have to do with it? He said, I was analyzing why I missed those 3 shots. He said, I now know why I missed them. And it won't happen again. That's it. That's a wonderful, beautiful story. You do not allow your failures to drag you down. The failure is a learning opportunity. You learned, move on. Where is the time for despair and where is the time for depression and where is the time to feel sad and no. Failures happen. We are human. But when you fail, get up and walk. Learn from the failure. Don't waste the opportunity. You paid for it. You paid for it probably with money. You paid for it with definitely with pain and emotion. With loss of face, maybe with being insulted. Who knows? All of this is fees. You paid fees to learn. Learn the lesson. Take it. There's a valuable lesson. You paid for it. Take the thing and go on with it, man. Don't leave the lesson there. After paying for it, you want to leave it there? No. Take it. Listen to people. Don't argue. Don't justify. It doesn't matter. You're not trying to convince that person. The person is telling you how they perceived you. Perception is reality. You may have wanted to do wonderful things. You may have had the desire and the intention to do that. But guess what? It didn't work. So what must you do? Don't try to prove the person, say, you are a fool, in a nice way what you are saying, it was your fault, you didn't see. No. He didn't see, that's his reality. So change the way you put it forward. Change the way you put it forward so that he will see. Don't try to make him feel bad that he didn't see. The fault is yours. You were not able to portray it in the right way where he could see what you wanted him to see. So change your way. Flexibility is a wonderful thing. Be very flexible about everything except ethics and values. Never compromise on ethics and values. It's not worth it. It's too expensive. Not worth it. And final point I want to say to you, two things. Number one, excuses don't change reality. As they say, we have met the enemy and he is us. Excuses do not change reality. Don't make excuses. Just go and do the right thing. And second thing is, productivity is the outcome of determination. You can have anything you want as long as you are willing to stay in there. Let me share with you just two short case studies and we close for today. One is the mosquito bat. Especially people in India, you know this. I see some people walking around in the US also with it. It's like a tennis racket, comes with batteries. The mesh is electrified and the mosquito gets zapped. This was invented in 1996 by a man called, I hope I pronounce his name correctly, Taiwanese inventor called Sao Ai-shi. And he has a US patent on it. Simple material, old technology, just simple as that. He just created a thing like a tennis racket, mesh, that's it, plastic. It has two batteries. I know one guy in India who took this, he copied this, and he's used to send container loads of this to Africa. Simple technology, old neat. Mosquitoes are there. They bite people. People don't want them to bite. Don't want mosquitoes to bite. The mosquitoes are very difficult to kill. If you have lived in a country with mosquitoes like I have, you know how difficult they are to kill. As they say, if you think you are too small to make a difference, try sleeping in a room with one mosquito. Here comes the bat. Absolute surefire thing. Old need, but somebody takes that need, converts it into a business idea, and it's successful, adding value to people and making money in the process. The second one is a company with a name which I believe they changed it later, mercifully. It used to be called Urban Clap. It is quite a... obviously the people who kept that name didn't realize what's the meaning of clap. But anyway, so Urban Clap. It was started in 2014 by Varun Khaitan, Raghav Chandra and Abhiraj Bhal. And they raised $110 million, and eventually the company was valued in 2019. 2014 they started, 2019 the company was valued at $480 million. Very simple. This company, if you need a nail to be placed in a place on your wall, you call them, their person comes and puts that. We might say, why can't I hammer? Oh, you can, but you probably get a hole in the wall. You probably make a chunk because you don't have the tools to drill a hole, put a plug, and then put a nail in that, which is the way to do it. Or for example, in India at that time, IKEA had first come in. So you go to IKEA, you buy your furniture, and in India we are not used to this do it yourself and do it at home stuff. So people don't have the tools. So you come with a whole bunch of things which you don't know which fits where. You call this Urban Clap company. The guy comes in and he sets it all up for you, fits it and goes. The people come in uniforms. They do a neat job, and they come with ID card. So you know that they are legit, and they go away. You pay them for it. So simple things, which is daily things that people need in their house, which they may or may not be able to do themselves. They call this company comes and does it. Old need, new idea of how to tap into a need which is there in every single household, and it's a source of profit. So to be an entrepreneur, you don't need this mind-blowing, once in a blue moon idea out of the sky. If you get it, very good for you, but you don't need that. You need to identify the pain and solve the pain. That's it. Identify the pain and solve the pain. We live in a society which is full of pains. All kinds of people have all kinds of needs, all kinds of pains. Identify the pain, solve the pain. That's it. And that is the source of profit. I want to end. My gift to you is my motto in life. I will not allow what is not in my control to prevent me from doing what is in my control. I will not allow what is not in my control to prevent me from doing what is in my control. What is in my control is to control myself, is to leverage, and to do a great job in whichever field I'm in. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this. Do share it, send us comments. We'd love to see you. We'd love to talk to you. We'd love to work with you. Thank you very much.